Hello and welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. Today we have a powerful area of low pressure that is developing and intensifying over the eastern Great Lakes. That area of low pressure drove a strong cold front through the region this morning, which led to strong to severe thunderstorms and some wind damage. I believe some planes got overturned and some roofs got ripped off. It's pretty nasty out there with wind gusts in some of these thunderstorms exceeding 60 miles per hour. Now that is a powerful thunderstorm. However, the rain is over, but the wind remains. Windy conditions can be expected through tomorrow morning, ranging anywhere from 15 to 30 miles per hour, gusting over 40 miles per hour. Some locations could still see 60 mile per hour gusts. This is all because of the low pressure center intensifying and higher pressure over the Midwest, and that air rushing from higher pressure to lower pressure. Combine that also with a strong mid-level jet stream at about 850 to 925 millibars, mixing down at times, and you get your strong wind gusts. So how long will this last? Well, I expect the winds to last until tomorrow morning and then slowly decline as we get through the day. And then high pressure will be in control all the way through this weekend and into early next week. Now, this weekend looks rather chilly with temperatures generally around the mid to upper 40s, some lower 50s over parts of southern New Jersey, but overall a quiet, chilly weekend can be expected. Going into Monday and Tuesday, though, we warm up significantly, especially into Wednesday, where temperatures could break into the lower 60s. Some mild guys is even pushing into the mid 60s. I don't buy it for right now. I'm keeping temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 50s up through Tuesday, and then upper 50s to lower 60s beyond that. Then things get interesting because an Arctic cold front's on the move, and that is starting to create some interesting solutions on some of the model guidance. Let's take a look at the latest 12Z GFS guidance. This is the latest 12Z GFS guidance at 500 millibars on Wednesday evening. Now, there are several features on this model guidance map that are questionable. For example, the position of the polar vortex and the what looks like an octopus over parts of Canada. That's frankly a ridiculous outcome. But what it shows, what it's saying is that this polar jet stream is very active and has a lot of disturbances. Never take models verbatim, especially when you get beyond 3 and 4 days. But the models are giving us hints. What they're saying is that the polar jet stream is very active, has a lot of disturbances, and oh yeah, we have a powerful negative NAO developing. And oh yeah, we have a Arctic air mass sinking through the northern plains and heading towards the Great Lakes, New England, and the northern mid-Atlantic. So when you take these factors together, well, you have to consider what are the possible outcomes. Again, you don't take a model verbatim, especially the GFS beyond 4 and 5 days, but you can pick up some of the hints. Now, this upper level low that's over the Canadian Maritimes, this is around 50 north, 50 west. It's called a 50-50 low in meteorology terms. And what that does, it forces the southeast ridge that is going to be a big player this coming winter because of La Nina a little bit further south. And it causes the storm track to be a little bit further south and allows cold air to move a little bit further south into the northern Mid-Atlantic and remain locked in. So when you consider these factors, then you start looking at the surface features, you start to put together a forecast. Now let's take a look at the surface features. Now this is the surface map forecasted for Wednesday evening. We have our Arctic cold front that is moving through the northern Mid-Atlantic and stalling over the southern Mid-Atlantic back through the Mississippi River Valley. Notice all the precipitation. That's because you have warm air banking up against this Arctic air. Now there are a lot of questions with this forecast going into Thanksgiving. How progressive is this Arctic air mass at the surface? I think that the Great Lakes will see plenty of lake effect snow from this intrusion of Arctic air, but I have some questions as to how fast it's going to be able to get through the Appalachian Mountains and reach the coastal plain. So we have to consider that aspect. The other aspect to consider is that with all those disturbances that you just seen in the last map, well, how will they interact with this boundary? The GFS likes to produce a storm. Well, the last European model run wasn't so progressive with that idea. It held back the potential for precipitation, kept scattered rain and snow showers around, but didn't organize a major storm. Each solution is valid in its own right. So there's a lot of questions going into Thanksgiving as to whether a storm actually develops. One thing I do want to make clear though, even if the model guidance shows that 850 millibar temperatures are below zero, and that usually indicates snow in the winter, you have to remember that the boundary layer where we are at is still relatively warm. We're still getting out of fall and we're heading towards winter. So typically what has to happen is, one, the boundary layer has to cool, which means we have to get our Arctic air mass in and situated first before any type of snow could develop. And second, the ground has to cool, which means that, okay, if you have snow falling in the sky, you still probably won't see it stick because the ground is too warm along with the pavement. So yes, there could be a potential for some rain and snow on Thanksgiving and thereafter for Friday and Saturday. But as far as accumulation, well, I wouldn't bank on it just yet. Everything has to go just right, and most importantly, that cold air will have to be really cold to override the other climatological features like the warm Atlantic Ocean, the warm ground that we have in place because we're still in fall, and of course the warm boundary layer of the air mass in place right now. Once those factors get together and become overridden, which I expect in early December, well, then we have something interesting. I would look more towards early December for our first snowfall throughout the northern mid-Atlantic, but I'm getting ahead of myself right now. For Thanksgiving, yes, it could be stormy, but it won't necessarily be white. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. On the front page of the website, I will have a constant forecast for the Thanksgiving holidays. So if you're wherever you're traveling throughout the United States, you'll get the latest information and latest forecasts on what to expect. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.